welcome to the Vibrant Health Podcast with your hosts, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza. Lydia is a nutritional therapist and founder of Divine Health from the Inside Out. Jessica is a real food wellness educator and founder of the website, deliciousobsessions.com. Since this is a health-related podcast, it should be noted that the hosts are not licensed medical professionals. The information and advice provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any illness or health issue and should not be construed as medical advice. And now, here are the hosts of Vibrant Health Podcast, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 10 of the Vibrant Health Podcast. I am Jessica from deficiencies.com, and I'm here with my co-host, Lydia of Divine Health from the InsideOut.com. And today we want to talk about vitamin C, and specifically we want to talk about whole foods vitamin C versus ascorbic acid, which is what most of us are familiar with whenever you think about vitamin C, and if you're buying vitamin C supplements, it's going to be typically in ascorbic acid form. So we actually brought up the topic of vitamin C in episode number 8 of the podcast when we talked about willy-nilly supplementation, and we had actually mentioned that we were going to do a follow-up podcast on vitamin C because it's so important. So we are here today to talk about that. So Lydia, you want to say hi to everybody and then tell us a little bit about vitamin C and why it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping in and listening today. I would love to tell you more about vitamin C. Vitamin C may quite possibly be the single most essential anti-stress nutrient there is. Why is that so? Well, not only does it offer cellular protection and immune support, which most of us are familiar with, but it provides adrenal support to help produce more cortisone and epinephrine. Bet you didn't know that. The adrenals actually store the highest concentration of vitamin C in the body. And the more cortisol made in the body, the more vitamin C is used up. So what does that mean? The more stress you live in, the more vitamin C your body needs. Okay, so we all need a lot of vitamin C, right? Yeah, so, and I've talked about this before. Most everyone's in some type of adrenal stress, so, it's pretty darn important. Vitamin C is water soluble, and it gets used up really quickly by the body, so it's imperative to get it in the diet. We also can't make it, so we have to get it in the diet. And most people are not consuming enough for their body's needs. It's also going to be destroyed easily by heat, so there you goes another thing. So it's really critical to supplement, especially if you live a stressful life, which who doesn't? And we all know stress is a big factor in adrenal fatigue. Okay, so vitamin C is actually a complex vitamin. It's not just like this one thing. It's got complex molecules, and it also contains P, K, and J factors. There's a tyrosinase enzyme, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and at least 14 bioflavonoids, various ascorbigens, 5 copper ions, iron, manganese, zinc, selenium, phosphorus, magnesium, and yes, ascorbic acid. Okay, let me pause for 1 second. You guys all know vitamin C as ascorbic acid in supplement form, right? Because the majority of supplements on the market are ascorbic acid when it comes to vitamin C. So vitamin C is actually really complex, like I just said, and there's probably dozens, if not maybe hundreds of other nutrients present in this molecule that we really haven't yet discovered. So, whole food C versus ascorbic acid today is what we're going to get into. We can't make it, like I said, so we really have to get it from our food. But what if you're not getting it from your food? Well, most people aren't getting enough. There's actually no evidence that fragments of the molecule have any of the same effects as the whole C molecule. So again, this is going back to the ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is actually a pro-oxidant. It's not an antioxidant. So it actually can cause oxidation in the body. Kind of like rust on a car bumper, Okay, so ascorbic acid is more, this is going to rattle some people here. It's more like an antibiotic than it is a vitamin. So basically it's more like a drug. Now, there's going to be times when, it could be okay and beneficial to use ascorbic acid short term. It may have an appropriate use at times, but it's not the entire vitamin C. It actually can deplete vitamin C. Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, a big one.
So I had to share this with people because I was not taught this information, way back when, and so I may have steered people wrong in the past with my vitamin C recommendations, and now I'm here to rectify that and help other people see this because it's kind of important. Actually, it's really important.
Yeah, I feel bad too. I have that post on my site. It's one of the most popular posts on my site, the one for liposomal vitamin C. And I was making it for myself, and then I wrote a post on it, and it's made with ascorbic acid. So now I feel really bad about that. I'm going to have to rectify that as well with the new information.
But we have to remember, when you know better, do better. So here we are.
Yep,
we know better
exactly.
now, and we are out to make sure you guys know this too. So vitamin C is actually a complex vitamin, and it deserves to be better understood so that people aren't just out there grabbing supplements that contain ascorbic acid and missing out on a plethora of other nutrients from they're not going to be getting from the stripped down version, and actually maybe doing themselves some harm. Now, I've been working with people. I've been doing nutritional therapy for a couple of years, and there are so many types of supplements out there, and we've talked about this recently in another podcast. And there are lots of supplements that will add some vitamin C to them because we know the benefits of vitamin C, but it's usually in the form of ascorbic acid.
Mm-hmm.
So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go to your supplement cabinet. I don't want you to throw everything away, but I want you to look at what you're buying and check the labels and find out if you're getting all this ascorbic acid, and then maybe start to shift away and make some changes, okay? So, maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear this. And here I am, busting more health myths. But I'm not doing this to upset people and make you mad at me or anything, but I want you to know because it's really important, and I have made it a priority in my practice to work with people only through Whole Food C.
Yeah, that's something that I just recently transitioned to, probably, I think maybe 3 months ago. I was still in the ascorbic acid camp until you started teaching me about, the whole foods form. It kind of blows my mind that for all these years I've been taking the wrong form of vitamin C.
Yeah, so, not ascorbic acid made from GMO corn or anything like that, which it often is, right? So vitamin C, not ascorbic acid, vitamin C, the whole food form, actually will help to regenerate the activity of selenium and selenium-rich proteins. And our thyroid hormone production requires selenium. It also requires a couple other things, L-tyrosine, whole food C, and copper. Okay, don't go run out and get all those supplements, you guys. Just listen here. The body can't utilize copper. It can't metabolize cholesterol. It can't make hemoglobin and a host of other biochemical essentials without whole food vitamin C.
Wow.
And that's not all. There's more. So almost everything, it's pretty amazing, right? Almost everything the human body does biochemically depends on these basic factors. So we need clean, pure water, we need minerals, and we need whole food vitamin C. And it's actually, it could be considered one of the most important vitamin nutrients available to us as humans, but only in whole food form. Again, I'm going to keep saying that. It's actually the one vitamin deficiency that in a severe form will eventually kill you. You remember like the stories of the, I'm going to lose it because I'm not really great with history, but you remember how they would have sauerkraut on the ships?
Yeah, sailors were often getting scurvy, and they would bring, I was just thinking about that actually whenever you had mentioned that. They would have the sauerkraut, or I remember one time reading that they would actually have barrels of oranges if they were in an area where they could get oranges. And it would essentially ferment while it was on the ship, but they would keep it with them because they knew, this is before modern medicine and all this stuff.
Right.
They knew the importance of vitamin C, and, they didn't have ascorbic acid, so they were eating it in a whole form because they knew the risk of getting scurvy and how detrimental that would be. So, yeah, I was thinking that exact same thing when you were talking about all of that.
Right. And so, again, I want to say it's easily destroyed by heat, vitamin C. So it really is tough to get it in the diet if you're not eating vitamin C-rich foods that are in their raw form. So, again, that's just one more thing going against us. Fermented foods are great, but not everybody's doing that. Fresh citrus fruits are great, but, again, it's only dependent on the source and how healthy the source is. And then there's people who don't tolerate citrus, so there's all kinds of things. So it's, good to know this so you can know how to get it in for you that works for you. Here's the thing. When you take ascorbic acid to ward off a cold, you're actually getting like an antibiotic or drug-like effect of the drug ascorbic acid, not a vitamin C. So you're actually depleting the whole food molecule, the real vitamin C complex molecule. So you end up kind of like shunting it out with all its other beneficial parts into your urine without leaving anything good behind. So I don't know how, it's really helping people long term. That's kind of scary to me. And the other thing that maybe we aren't aware of, and it's really something I'm seeing as a bigger, important thing that I had no clue about in the past, mainly because I'm doing hair analysis now and I'm looking at all these issues we have with copper, is that ascorbic acid blocks ceruloplasmin production in the liver. So,
what is ceruloplasmin?
This deficiency will end up preventing the binding of copper to make it bioavailable. So copper, we have a lot of people who have bound copper stored in their body that they can't access. And some people will call it like copper toxicity maybe, and that's maybe not the best way to say it, but it kind of helps you to see like you've got this thing in your body you don't need. So in a way, it can be toxic to you. So what we really want to do is make sure that the body can use it. And if we can't use it, then we're going to have problems. So my clients who know, they've gone through their hair analysis, and we've talked about the copper conundrum, which we won't go into that today. Most people have biounavailable copper in their body, which is a big problem. And some people have excessive copper, but it's usually the opposite. It's usually biounavailable to them, so they can't use it. And copper is pretty important. Maybe that should be a whole nother podcast.
It sounds like it.
And I probably won't do it justice because it's very complex. But let's talk about some symptoms of maybe vitamin C deficiency, or what we might call scurvy. Thin skin, frequent bruising. How many people have that? My kids do. Bleeding from old wounds or even scars. Maybe you get bleeding gums or swollen gums that are dark colored, maybe purple even. Pale skin, even fatigue. Thinning hair, premature graying, poor wound healing, weak tissues, even elevated cholesterol. Muscle, joint aches and pains, and connective tissue weakness.
Interesting. We were just talking in the last episode about, proper exercise for adrenal fatigue, and you were talking about how adrenal fatigue can play a role in, muscle and joint aches and injuries and stuff like that. So couple that with some vitamin C deficiency.
Right.
Boy.
Exactly. And there's even more. There's some more cool stuff. So like for your thyroid, actually thyroid hormone can't be produced by the thyroid gland without vitamin C also. And actually, and I just learned this, most type 1 hypothyroidism could probably be related to chronic C deficiency.
Wow.
I know, right? Could it really be that simple? Well, maybe not. But, suffice it to say, vitamin C is a big deal.
Yeah.
So it regenerates the selenoproteins essential for thyroid health, as well as facilitating your copper utilization in the body, and it's necessary for the formation of thyroid hormones. That's pretty important. And then if you combine the combination of like vitamin C deficiency with selenium deficiency, which most people have, I haven't seen one single person with adequate selenium. These two combined is a recipe for, developing possible hypothyroidism. Because you're not going to be able to produce those hormones properly without these building blocks.
That's some good food for thought for myself and for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we're out there trying to figure it out by all these tests and taking hormones, and there's a place for that, but sometimes we need to get to the foundations, man. Mm-hmm. So this is something to look at for sure. Definitely look at this stuff. It's definitely a big piece. And another thing, a little tidbit about the copper that I didn't say earlier was that our bodies can't utilize copper without the whole food vitamin C molecule. So if you have like this copper accumulation, like I was kind of saying, it actually could be a sign of vitamin C deficiency because you have this poor copper utilization. And I will say that many women have excessive copper in their body that they can't access, and it can cause so many problems. Problems with your cycle, problems with so many things. It's a big deal. So I'm just going to stop there because it's a really broad, deep subject. But it's something to touch on so people maybe are aware that it even is a problem to begin with.
Right. No, this is great. So now that we know that we should not take ascorbic acid, we definitely want to make sure that, the supplements that we are taking doesn't contain any ascorbic acid in it. So how are you recommending people get the whole food vitamin C into their diet? Is that just another supplement they need to buy, or, are there other ways that they can do it?
Okay, so some ways you can get more whole food C into your life. You don't necessarily have to supplement with a pill. I think it would be a good idea for many people because of the way their lifestyle can get busy, and, it's kind of like an insurance policy. So I do like whole food C capsules, and if you're going to go ahead and start using this supplement, please just go really slow. Take one on your first day if you're going to try it. Make sure it works for you. Because in the off chance that it doesn't, I don't want anyone to get mad at me. There are people who react. So, yeah, again, just go slow, try it out. Better yet, work with somebody if you can. But, yes, you can get whole food C capsules. There are a number of good brands out there. One that I can say for sure that I like is called Pure Synergy. So that's one good brand. And there's also a lot of really great berry powders. So a couple examples would be something like acerola, that's a berry, or rosehip even, and camu is another one. So those are a couple powders, and usually they're done at low heat, like, dehydrated or whatever, and powdered so that they retain that vitamin C, so they're not being heated up. Another would be maybe some organic berries, like really good quality berries grown by a farmer that's taking good care of the soil and not spraying them or anything like that. And you really don't need a lot. Usually I give my kids a small little bowl of berries every morning. That's part of our kind of our routine. Even like fresh juices, maybe veggie juices, so vegetables that maybe have more vitamin C would be nice if you tolerate them. If you are fermenting foods, properly fermented sauerkraut has some good vitamin C in it. And there may even be some multivitamins out there that do have whole food C. So if you're taking a multi, check yours out. Make sure it has whole food C. Maybe it will have like acerola or something in it, but make sure it's not ascorbic acid.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm taking the Pure Synergy brand. I don't take the capsules. I take the powder. I actually don't really mind the tart taste of it. And so I take the powder. You get, I think it's more cost effective than the capsules, so it really just depends on, your lifestyle and your ability. For people who are working, the capsules are going to be much more convenient. I'm at home, so I just, set my reminders on my phone. I'm actually taking 6 doses per day right now because I'm, just got my amalgams removed a few weeks back, and so the whole vitamin C, I kind of upped my dose to help kind of with some of that detox, supporting my detox pathway. So I'm taking the powder, 6 times a day, so I have a reminder set on my phone to go and take it throughout the day. But I also really like that Pure Synergy one, and I think I have a bag of the Camu powder, and I have tried the acerola before. So yeah, I can vouch for all of those. And we'll put links to everything so you guys don't have to go hunt them down. Just check out the links in the blog post about these. Right. So yeah, this is great information. I appreciate you sharing it.
Yeah, I think we could all benefit from having some whole food C powder on hand. I do a little bit of everything. I do like the capsules for when I'm busy because it's just a little easier to just throw down some capsules, but I do keep the powder on hand because you can add it to so many things, especially if you have kids who aren't taking pills yet. I'm a mom, I have a bunch of kids, so I think that way too. So I'll throw it in smoothies or homemade popsicles. I even have put it in salad dressing. And you could probably Google and find a bunch of people out there who've created these homemade vitamin C gummies. Just make sure it's whole food C, by the way. And so, there's a lot of possible ways. So if it becomes something that you're more intuitive about getting vitamin C in throughout the day, always remember that heat destroys this precious vitamin complex, so make sure it's raw foods, dehydrated berry powders, and we use it up really quickly in the body. So you don't need mega doses. You just want to take small amounts, and if you can take it with every meal, that's probably the best baseline. But if you, say you have a health issue, like Jessica's going through this recovery right now, so she's taking a little bit more. So just keep that kind of in mind. That's how your body kind of works and uses the vitamin C.
Yeah, this is great info. I will definitely have to update my posts on my website and kind of spread the word and help other people, learn about the differences between the two. I really didn't know that that vitamin C was so complex. It's I should have known that it was more than just ascorbic acid. I mean, you can't isolate each specific nutrient. I mean, their whole foods are always best. I don't know why it never resonated with me that just taking ascorbic acid may not have been the best idea. So this is great stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're looking at it like, oh, I need a vitamin, and this is how it comes in the pill form, and so that's kind of, we kind of have this mindset these days. But traditionally speaking, nobody thought that way. Mm-hmm. They just ate real food, and thankfully back then it was more nutrient dense than it is these days. One last little tidbit, and then I guess we can wrap it up, is, and I don't think I said this specifically, is that the adrenal glands love vitamin C. In fact, that's the concentration of vitamin C is actually the highest in the adrenal glands than anywhere else in the body. It's actually 100 times that of the concentration in the blood.
Wow.
So don't forget, stress depletes it. So, and the adrenals are going to be very sensitive to inadequate vitamin C in the body. So if you have adrenal fatigue, and we talk about this a lot, you're going to want to consider this for your health recovery.
Awesome. Great information. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. So we will leave you on that note. So go check your cabinets and look for ascorbic acid, and then just start transitioning away from that. Supplements are expensive, so we're not saying go throw all your supplements in the trash. Just start, letting this percolate in your brain, and then you can start making better decisions for the whole food C, next time you have to buy some supplements. So hopefully the information's been helpful. Check out the links from the podcast, and we will be back again next week with another episode. So have a great day, everybody.
Bye.